We're speaking about love. And we spoke about yesterday that every single relationship in this world is here to teach us about a relationship with God. There's no relationship too big or too small. Every single person you meet is significant. Every single bus driver you meet, every single falafel store owner, everybody, your boss, your kids, your grandparents, your wife, your husband, everything is a relationship to understand Hashem. And nothing happens for naught. If you meet somebody, there's some reason why you met them, things that you have to fix, that they taught you about in this world. That's why a lot of times this happens, that people are doing tshuva. People are coming home after things that they might have done in their life. And they start realizing, maybe they did things they weren't so proud of. And they had relationships they weren't so proud of. And they might have hurt people. And oftentimes the question will come up, which is, how should I look at that relationship? It was, in many ways, very parasitic, maybe toxic, maybe in both ways. And I just want to move on. And how do I say sorry to that person if things happen? So it's very, very important to know that there's a reason why that person came into your life, and there's things that you went through together that had to happen. And one of the best things to do is, if somebody was hurt, is to say, I'm so sorry. If I did anything that was ever not according to your honor, according to the honor that you deserve, and I appreciate the things that we learned together. I appreciate what we went through. I want to wish you a lot of success. Thank you for everything you taught me. It's very healthy. And that creates a closure. It allows the truth, which is that there's a reason why Hashem put that person in your life. It's not like, oh my God, messed up, we should have never, that was the worst thing ever, and wow, now it's horrible. It's much more subtle and much deeper than that. There's a reason why things happened. That closure has to happen, and to see it in that healthy way. Very, very important to do that. To message a person, call a person. Just don't make it so sweet that all of a sudden they're like, oh my goodness, we should just get back together. It'd be too nice, even though you're not ready for a relationship right now of that nature. And then it's it just opens up a can of worms. But it's important to put closure in a healthy way. Okay? And have in mind that there's a reason why that person came into my life. That was all an introduction, that we're going to start talking about 3 levels of love. And I want to quote a pasuk, a verse from the great Shlomo HaMelech. Who knows who Shlomo HaMelech was? King Solomon. And what was he famous for? Being a king, that's pretty famous. He also did have many wives, that's true. That's what you get. That's the most famous thing. There's something even more famous about King Solomon. He did build a that's pretty big. Mishlei. He's the son of King David. You guys are tremendously educated. Pardon? He did know all the languages of the. Oh, thank you, David Shleimer. What was said?
Wives. He heard.
Someone said wives, and someone said wives, and I thought they said wives.
Really satisfying.
Well, he did have a lot of wives.
So I was like, just wait.
No, he did. By the way, it says that he had 1,000 wives.
No way.
I thought it was 300.
I thought it was 800.
Is there a higher?
Is there a difference, 800 to that?
Yeah.
1,000. So a person hears that, they're like, I think I could do that. No, have one. Treat her like a queen. Treat your wife like a queen. And now, by the way, you know what he was doing? Is that everybody that he was marrying, many of them were princesses from all over the world, from different nations. And they would come to Jerusalem, and they came, and he showed them the wisdom of the Torah. And he was teaching them that God is in everything. Everything. And he was showing them that with all of these great princesses from around the world, that they had great sparks of God inside of them and wisdom, and he was bringing them back to Hashem. He was a very, very special person, and he treated them like queens. What he's probably most famous for is that when God asked him, "What do you want?" So he said, I don't want money, I don't want fame, I want wisdom. He was the wisest man that ever lived. The wisest man that ever lived. Anybody who could ever learn about King Solomon, just learning, if you want wisdom in this world, just learn about King Solomon. It will make you wiser as a human being. So King Solomon said a famous verse. We're going to quote this verse, and then we're going to build on this verse over the next couple days. A verse from Mishlei, Proverbs 17:17. Okay? Says the wisest man who ever lived. Bekol eis oyev hareya, ve'ach litzara yulad. I'll translate. At all times, a friend will be there and love you. There'll be love. Bechol eis oyev hareya. The love of the friend will always be there. Ve'ach, and the brother, your brother, litzara yulad. He was born to be there in times of real need, in times of pain, times of real need. Simple meaning of the verse. Your friends will always love you, but your brother will be there to go into the trenches. He'll take the bullet. What is King Solomon talking about? Proverbs, they're like the most amazing riddles. Every single one of the Proverbs there's wild levels of wisdom. Every one of the Proverbs is 50 ways to understand it, and each of those ways has 50 other ways to understand that. There's wondrous things contained within this. Let's start to break this down. What's the difference between a friend and a brother? Oh, yeah, and then Zevi?
When you choose and when you don't.
Oh, the brother is, there's no choice in the matter. And the friend, there's a choice there. The brother is a brother, right? Whether you like it or not. Who's closer to you, blood-wise? Meaning, who's more you?
Brother.
Your brother, right? Your brother's your brother from the same mother. The friend is, what do they say, a brother from another mother. But it's not the same mother. It's like you. Brothers are very, very bonded. So your brother, it would sound like, which is closer, your brother or your friend? Listen to the verse again. All the time, your friend will be there in a loving way. And your brother, when it gets real tough, he was born for that. So where is there more love? When you're closer to each other, like a brother, or when you're further away, like two people, two friends, that they're different, right? They're different. They didn't grow up together. They don't look similar necessarily. Usually brothers have some similarity in their look. So where is there more connection? Okay, that's our first question today. Where is there more connection? When you're more similar to somebody or dissimilar? This is the famous question that I always ask in every relationship class. Okay, Rabbi, so does the Torah say that opposites attract or opposites or similarities attract? What do you guys say? Similarity attracts? Anybody disagree?
Well, yeah, let's say opposite by.
Opposites attract?
I don't want to do someone.
Let's go. This is a public discussion.
Opposites attract.
Rabbi Berger.
Yes.
In which way?
Well, in terms of like completing someone, like having two people the same, that are equal, like similar, they can almost get on each other's nerves or something. But when you have two people, or even if you look at like a group project, like you kind of want to fill in the blanks of like things that you're missing.
Okay, beautiful. Let's this. We're gonna build on all this. Yeah, hit it, Nikki.
About similar, but you want them aligned on vision, values, and lifestyle, and then the other stuff can be opposite.
Okay, so you're already going with the both, and I appreciate that. That we are gonna go in that direction. Yes.
I think when you're picking your wife or your partner, right? The goal is for you to become the best version of yourself, to grow. To grow, you need to be challenged and pushed. So that's why I think you need to look for complements, what complements you. So like if you're not patient, looking for someone who's patient, that'll probably help you become more patient so you can grow, right? So I think that's where the opposites attract come from, where like finding complementary values as well as alignment is both.
Okay, so going with Nikki in the both. I hear that. Anybody have proofs to one or the other?
What is this based on? Marriage or just in general?
In general,
In general?
and opposites attract.
We're talking about relationships with people or finding a partner.
We're talking about the concept. Relationships is one way to express this. I want you guys to think big. Think conceptually. Here's one example. You guys have been really hot? Like hot? You know what you really want when you're so hot? To light a fire in the room. Like make a bonfire, right? No, you're so hot. You don't want more hot. What would you love at that moment?
Water.
Give me icy, cold, lemon squeeze, slushy, icy cup Blue Moon. Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, Blue Moon.
I thought you were a Corona guy, but it's fine.
I never really was so much. I thought I was going there with the lemon, and I was spinning it one direction, and I just pulled it the other way. And right, so it would seem electrons, neutrons. Oh, seemingly we need some level of opposite to attract. Even the idea of a man and a woman. A man and a woman are very different. A man and a woman, I know there's a lot of discussion in the world now about this and challenge with this question, but men and women are different, just biologically. My Rebbe was showing me something that there was a biologist, somebody just speaking in Harvard a number of years ago, and she began to say, biologically, we can show that a man has certain parts and a woman has certain parts, and they're different. And they were throwing tomatoes. Way. I don't know. Well, that's just, a man has certain things, and a woman, a woman can bear a child. A man cannot have a child inside of him. That's called different. And that's okay. We can be different, it's okay. And in fact, there's a lot of attraction that comes from different. Like we were explaining, hot and cold, man and woman. Here's another example. The earth. You ever been to a desert landscape? The earth is so dry. Like dead. Do you know what the earth probably wants? More dryness. No. The earth would love for rain. Rain. Bring the rains. There's an attraction. Is that the rain meets, the wet rain meets the dry earth, and that produces something beautiful. There's fruits that are produced from that, from the opposites attracting. Anybody have proofs that similarities? Yeah?
Aren't we supposed to be as similar to God in every way?
Oh, we're going to get to God, and we're going to see that there's a level where opposites attract, and where similarities actually push away. I'll give you an example of similarities also pushing away. The Gemara talks about how people in the same profession, oftentimes are not into people those in their profession. It's like, oh no, another like barber moved into town. Like, we're too similar. Like, people in the same field of work, a little bit, they don't want to always tell their trade secrets. What do you mean? You're so similar. Why don't we all just get along? You need compliments. You need to have different members of a community. That's also why when a person realizes what we're talking about, is that it's okay to be different and to call different things for what they are, you become so much more inclusive. You become so much more multiculturally inclusive. Because you actually could say, a man and a woman are different, and that's great. Each one has a role. Each one is special. You could have different colors, and everyone needs to be part of the global tribe, the global community. The Torah teaches us that we live in a multicultural world and how to see the greatness of every single person. That being different actually attracts us to each other. It's such a message for our generation, where there's so much turmoil about this, is that you can be different, and that's great. That's great. At the same time, similarities attract. Similarities attract. When you have two people going in the same direction, those are like friends. Friends, they're different, but they have a similar vision. Or a brother, siblings. There's a similar vision. We're from the same, elk. We were from the same tribe, from the same family, where there's a similarity. The answer within a wife and a sibling is that you should definitely be aligned in your vision, for sure. But you are different, and you're going to complement each other. You're going to complement each other. And you're going to see, this is how we really started, is Hashem is going to send you exactly the person that's going to oftentimes be exactly the complement that you need. And just get ready. Anybody here a really messy person? Be honest. You could tell me. I'll keep it in the room. Like, decently messy, disorganized.
Like in your head or in like...
Usually, I'll tell you the truth. Usually, it's all the same thing. I have to tell you something. Rabbi Yisrael Salanter, when people would come to see, there was always prospective fathers who had daughters that were of marriageable age, and they would come to the yeshivas, and they wanted to see, who might be a good candidate for my daughter. So they would come around, see, low-key. It's always happening. You think like, oh, there's probably just a visitor in Aish. Yeah, they're looking. They're looking for fine young men like yourself. So they would come and they would tell Rabbi Yisrael, they'd say, Rebbe, I'm interested in I heard about a certain boy. Let me bring me to the base measures. I want to see how he learns. He'd say, that's not a good way to find out what you're looking for. I said, what do you mean? He's like, let me show you his dorm room. Let me show you. Everyone's like, no, anything but that. No, I haven't dealt with the laundry monster. It's been just too many weeks. Getting a life of its own. Baruch Hashem, nobody here is like that. That's great. So, Rabbi Yisrael Salanter would always say, just come and see if the guy makes his bed. See if his shoes are tucked nicely under the bed. His closet, his shirts are all folded nicely. Everything's hung up nice. There's no like wrappers and garbage, Reese's peanut butter cups lying around, half-eaten, sticky like some soda pop that spilled a week or two ago, and just nobody's dealing with it. And now it's just like, we just don't talk about it now. Now it's just there, that passive-aggressive, like, it's there. It's just there, and that's a sticky spot in the room where your foot walks on. It's like, sweet, that sticky thing. He's like, and new guys come in and like, what's that? I don't know. It's just always been here. And then Erev Pesach, we hope that, you guys man up and take care of it. So Rabbi Yisrael Salanter would say, you want to know how he's really doing the base medrash? You want to know what's really going on in his brain? Just go look at the way that his dorm room looks. Everyone's like, I'll go before afternoon seder, sprint, make the beds, boom, boom. Because that's really what it is. So you should know, Hashem has such a good sense of humor, is that He's oftentimes going to send to a really organized person a wife who's a little bit more less organized.
Oh no, don't hold me there, Rabbi.
And you're gonna have to love her no matter what. You're gonna have to love her no matter what. And you're gonna help each other grow. Now, obviously you have to have a similarity, and you're attracted to each other because you guys are going to God together. There's a similarity there. But Hashem will bring things that are opposites where you're going to help each other. This is called Ezer Kenegdo. It says that Adam had to go find his Ezer Kenegdo. Ezer means your help. Kenegdo means the one who's against you. Does she help you? Does he help you? Against? Well, it's both. Against also means that it's going to refine me. Right? Steel sharpens steel. You have to go through it together. So we're going to talk over the next day or so about the type of relationship which is one where it's opposites. Then we're going to talk about a relationship where it's same and the love that's built through that. Then we're going to talk about a mysterious third type of love, which is the ultimate love. I'm not going to tell you what it is today. I want you guys to think about it over the next day. There's a love that comes together through opposites. There's a love that comes together through similarity. That's what King Solomon's talking about, is the brother similar and the friend is different because we're two different people. There's those types of love. And there's going to be a mysterious third level, which is higher than all of them. And even though these first two levels are going to teach you about Hashem, the third level is the ultimate level of loving Hashem. And I want you guys to think, what is this third level? It's not similarity, it's not opposite, it's what is this third type of love? And that's really the love that's going to be the ultimate love of how we develop wildly beautiful, deep, passionate love with God. And we're going to explore that over the next rest of our life. Looking forward to my dear friends with Mishit Tzidkim B'meir V'minu. Amen. Have a wonderful day. Call too. Okay, think about it for the next day, okay?
I like this cliffhanger.
It's a cliffhanger. Today was a cliffhanger.
I hate